Hi guys, I'm Sarah and welcome into my channel. I'm an attachment style specialist, a mindset mastery coach, and transformational hypnotherapist. And in today's video, we're talking about why loving the DA or having knowledge and awareness about dismissive avoidant attachment will not make your dismissive avoidant partner change and what to do instead. If you'd like a personal session, I offer a free 20-minute discovery call. The link is below. And this is for people serious about working with me and serious about transforming their lives. By the way, guys, we start working on really untangling you from this heartbreak and these obsessive ruminating thoughts. And we end up working on creating and generating abundance for you, getting the raise that you deserve and desire, having healthier relationships all around in your life, and really just creating a life that you love. So it's so much more than just healing from heartbreak. And I want to dive right in. So knowledge does not equal change. You cannot think your way into the dismissive avoidance change of mind. Like, you can't think your way into their heart. When they've made up their mind and they've deactivated from this relationship and from you, they are done. Okay? This is harsh truth, guys. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything because this will not help you heal. I know this is painful to hear, but it's necessary for your healing. And I care about you and your healing. I have been there. I am in the middle of a divorce from a dismissive avoidant partner. And what I want to tell you and what I share with you on my videos is coming from a place of experience, having experienced all of these emotions, all of this pain myself, and now on the other side of this experience with full clarity. In fact, I just spoke to my husband 2 days ago about our taxes, and for the first time, there was zero emotional charge on my end. In fact, I felt compassion for him. Compassion for his inner child. But I was able to do it and still have distance. I was able to do it without self-abandoning. I was able to have that empathy and not go into overdrive. And that's where you can look forward to getting to too if you do the work properly. Staying in these cycles, guys, of pining after this person is so unhealthy, and it's going to keep you stuck in every aspect of your life. So knowledge does not equal change. You can ask them, you can send them articles. I've had clients say, I want to send them your videos. I don't recommend it. Why? They're not going to watch them. It's going to make them resentful. They're going to say, you're not my therapist, you're not my mom, you're not my dad, I'll do what I want. It's going to make them even more convinced that they're making the right decision. Same thing with no contact. Like, the more you reach out, the more you cry, the more you show emotion when they've deactivated, the more they're gonna push this away because it's all too intense and overwhelming for their nervous system. Remember, attachment styles are adaptations to something that happened in childhood. Don't self-abandon. This is my number one message. Tend and heal to your inner child. Do not self-abandon for the sake of somebody else's security, safety, happiness. You are not, don't put yourself in that position where you think that you need to save all the wounded birds of the world. You are not this person's savior, and they are not yours. Nobody is here to heal us or save us but ourselves. I know this is tough love. I am the tough love coach. There's a reason for that. When we truly embrace our pain, when we truly just sit with our pain and say, what are you here to show me about me, not about that person, but about me, we transform, we shift, and that emotion releases. Emotions are not meant to stick around. They're not meant to stay for months and years. They're meant to be released out of the body, guys. But we can't do that if we're holding on and gripping on to yesterday. We can't do that if we're hoping that this person comes back when this person has made it clear that they're moving on. We need to accept what they're telling us. That's having respect for yourself and also respect for this individual and their free will. Healing takes time. And here's what I've learned from some really powerful people in this field of attachment theory. This healing could take years for this individual. Do you really want to wait around for years hoping and praying and wishing that somebody else changes while you put your life and your dreams and your goals on hold? What if you wait for 5 years and nothing changes? Or they change enough and then they decide they want to be with somebody else? or you pass up the love of your life. This could happen. You have free will. You pass up a really healthy, available partner who's ready today. Maybe you miss out on your chance of having children, or I don't know, having your happily ever after, because you're wishing, praying, hoping that this other person changes. We are not the agents of change for other people. We are the agents of change for ourselves. So you cannot convince this person that you're the best thing since sliced bread. You cannot convince this person that this relationship is worth salvaging. You cannot convince this person that they are worthy. They have a defective core wound. Is it sad? Absolutely. Is it heartbreaking? Yes, my empaths, I am one. I feel you. I went through this cycle and spun for months at the detriment of my own self and my own mental health. And I give you guys these videos from my own experience with my own pain. This healing has nothing to do with you. Their healing, the dismissive avoidance healing, has nothing to do with you or anybody else. It has to do with them taking authority and agency over their life and finally deciding once and for all, I've had enough of my own shit. I'm tired of the pain. I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of the loneliness. I'm tired of good people going away. I'm tired of losing out on good people. Really and truly, when a DA starts to heal, that's the message they're going to tell you guys. I talk to them every day. I'm tired of missing out on good people because I told them to go away. They do have remorse. They do have regret. They do experience pain. They're human just like everybody else. They want love, they want companionship, and they want partnership. But once it arrives, they push it away. Waiting for someone else to change is indicative of a core wound of yours. And I think that most wounds go back to unworthiness and shame. I am unworthy, I am too much, or I am not enough. Those are the wounds that I see the most in the clients that I've worked with over the past decade. I am too much or I'm not enough. And typically with anxious, it's I'm too much. With avoidant, it's I'm not enough. And think about that for a second. This person that's broken up with you may have given you whatever reasons they gave you. It's just a story they're telling themselves, guys. It's a story to convince themselves that this is the right decision. I can guarantee that the story my husband fed himself about why it was better to divorce than work on our marriage and go to couples counseling like I was begging him to do has not held up to the test of time. I know this. I'm intuitive enough to feel this and know this when I talked to him 2 days ago. There's sadness and remorse and regret. I could feel it in the tone of his voice. I know him. And in many ways, he's like the male version of me. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm a healing, fearful avoidant. I'm very transparent about that. But I wasn't always a fearful avoidant. I've been secure. I've leaned more anxious. For a long time, I leaned very anxious. In this relationship, I showed up more avoidant because he showed up more anxious in the beginning. And then we would flip-flop. I have a lot of content about that. But what I want you to understand is that even though I have empathy for this man, even though I love this man, I will not self-sacrifice ever again. And I want you guys to do something. I want you to think about, this is not to villainize or vilify this person, but I want you to think about all the things that were missing in that partnership. Were you getting the intimacy and sex that you needed or wanted? The amount that you needed or wanted for you, your non-negotiables? Were your emotional needs met? Did you feel seen, heard, and understood? Now, wounds aside, right? Let's talk about wounds aside for a second. Even attachment styles aside, let's say coming from a secure place. Were you really content and happy? What was missing? I want to give you a couple more real life examples. In my relationship, over time, my husband started sleeping in another bedroom. That was incredibly painful for me. I felt rejected. And yes, was that a wound that I was feeding? Absolutely. The source of that was a wound, but it didn't help. It was being reinforced by his behavior. And he had all sorts of logical reasons and excuses for it. But ultimately, I realize now it was to create space. And I have compassion for that need of his to create space, but it still hurts. Then it was intimacy, basically. One day I said, you know what? I'm not going to pursue him. He never pursued me from that day forward. So for 6 months, there was zero intimacy in that marriage. And I'm not even talking about just sex. I'm talking about just nothing. No holding hands, no very like basic kisses on the lips, like nothing. That it became like a brother-sister type relationship. And I know some of you guys can relate to that. And in addition to that, he even talked about wanting to have different houses. And I was like, what the fuck? We are married. I didn't get married to sleep in a different room, to not be intimate with my husband, and to have a different house. Like, it floored me that this all came out once things started to get real and heavy. Once real life transpired and the stressors and triggers of that started to bubble up to the surface, I see it now so clearly. His nervous system was absolutely on fire. He was trying to put out that fire any way he knew possible. And it was absolutely triggering my own attachment wounds, my own inner child wounds. It says, oh my God, I'm too much. Oh my God, I'm being rejected. I'm being abandoned. And this person doesn't understand me. That's like the core wound of the fearful avoidant. They need to be seen, heard, and understood. So we were both triggering each other's deepest core wounds. What a beautiful disaster, but also what a beautiful opportunity to heal to the highest degree. Unfortunately, my partner was not willing to do that together. I could see a future where it was absolutely beautiful. I saw it and I tried to relay this. I tried to paint the picture of what this would look like. But I can't force him to do anything he doesn't want to do. And a DA will make that very clear. You cannot control me. You cannot force me. I make the calls. I call the shots around here. And what does that get them ultimately? Alone. It gets them alone. I was willing to put in the effort because I knew what was happening. I knew that these were wounds that were playing out. It wasn't the true self. He's a lovely human. His true self is lovely, is funny, is so intelligent, is caring, is giving. And my true self isn't an asshole either. My true self is loving and caring and devoted and conscious of other people's wounds and pain. But with the avoidant anxious, which when you have the dismissive avoidant with a fearful avoidant, you end up in the anxious avoidant trap, which is the most common and is so incredibly painful. What happens is neither people feel seen, heard, or understood. Both people feel criticized. Both people feel rejected and abandoned. Both people feel incredibly lonely. And both people ultimately walk away convinced that this was just the wrong relationship. But when you can see the higher perspective, it was literally two inner children duking it out. I don't know if you guys saw, there was a picture, like a sculpture from Burning Man a couple years ago. And it was like, the best way I can describe it is like two kids sitting back to back like this, two inner children back to back and kind of slumped over. And the feeling that that emitted was, I am not understood. Nobody understands me. The ultimate fear of every human being. We just want to be gotten. When somebody gets you, doesn't that feel amazing? But that wasn't happening in this dynamic. It can't happen. And honestly, can one person heal this relationship? No. You are going to self-abandon, especially if you are the anxious partner or the fearful avoidant dealing with a DA, you're going to self-abandon. And even the secure partner will have to self-abandon to a certain degree eventually, because the stakes get higher and higher for the DA. And the higher and higher the stakes get, the more and more the DA runs, like turns around, runs away, and is like, I can't do this. This is too much. This is too intense. I am overloaded and I gotta bounce. And they're gonna go off and auto-regulate on their own, and you're gonna feel left behind. Even the most secure person will turn anxious in a long-term relationship with an avoidant. So remember, guys, the moral of the story is your knowledge does not equal your partner's change in behavior. Please understand that at a very deep, intrinsic level. Watch this as many times as you need to. Take notes, write this down. You having a deep understanding about what just happened cannot translate to that person making the decision, the conscious decision of their own free will to make the changes that are necessary. And I'm gonna end on this note, and I might get a little emotional because it's so true. My husband, his last act of love with me was letting me go. In fact, I wrote a letter to him this morning. I hadn't even gotten out of bed yet. And I'm gonna share that in a video with you guys. I haven't decided if I'm gonna share it in a written video or in a video. But I realized that his last act of love was freeing me and letting me go, because he knew he had these monsters. He knew he had these wounds inside of him. And I don't think he truly thinks that he can heal from them in this lifetime. Who am I to convince him that he can? That's not my job. We can love somebody and we can leave them. We can love somebody and we can say, hey, here's your life vest is right over there. I can't give it to you, but it's right there. And when you're ready, you can reach for it. You can't save them. So stop trying and start saving yourself, guys. Start loving yourself. You've got to love yourself more than you loved them. That immense love you feel for this person is showing you how much love that if you poured into yourself would absolutely rock your world. Pour that love into yourself. Pour that love into your life, into your dreams and your goals and the pursuit of joy. If that person is going to heal, they're going to heal with or without you. That is their decision ultimately to make. Free yourself and free them. Wish them well, say a prayer, and go on your way. Because you've self-abandoned long enough. This individual, their healing has nothing to do with you. Address your core wounds. Address the reasons why you attracted this individual in the first place, why you stayed, and then why you're still ruminating or obsessing over them. No judgment from my end. Okay, I've worked through my own wounds. I'm still working through them. I'm not healed. I don't know that we're ever fully healed. I'm a work in progress. I'm a couple steps ahead of you in this process. And I can tell you it is so worth it to commit to yourself. I see you guys. I send so much love and compassion for what you're going through. Choose yourself.